Hello friends, in this lecture we will discuss the classical theory of paramagnetism. Firstly, here the Curie law, and Curie law is nothing but the susceptibility. Susceptibility equals to the psi m is given by C by T. This is for C is a Curie constant. In our previous lecture we have already discussed Curie law. Therefore, here this is C is the Curie constant and T is the temperature. And here you can see here that psi m is directly proportional to the Curie constant and inversely proportional to the temperature applied to the material. Okay. Therefore, in magnetism, or in case of the magnetism, and in a diamagnetism, the diamagnetic property of the material is independent on the temperature. But when we take the paramagnetic material, then the susceptibility of the material is inversely proportional to the temperature. Here, this is the Curie statement. Again, the another statement is there that the relation. This is relation is called as the Curie law or Curie law, Curie constant. This is a Curie constant. Again, when the vis is introduced here, the vis introduces the another term. Second law is the Curie-Weiss law. Curie-Weiss law states that the temperature not only depend on the this susceptibility of the paramagnetic material is not simply depend on the temperature applied to the material, but also the another factor, that is the theta. We'll discuss here what is theta, and we have to prove this by using the paramagnetic relation, classical treatment for the paramagnetic material. Now you can see here, this is susceptibility psi m equals to C upon T minus theta. This theta is a constant, and with the dimension of temperature. This theta is again the and has the dimensions of the temperature, and here susceptibility not only depend on the temperature but it depend on T theta T minus theta, and for any one substance and equal to 0 for those substance which obey the Curie law, and some other right dimensions and determine the equation T plus this theta may be positive, negative, or 0. Okay. We will discuss here how this derivation runs. Here we are studying the classical theory of the paramagnetism, and in this classical theory of the paramagnetism, we will discuss the derivation for the classical theory of the paramagnetic materials. Now you know that when the electron moving around the nucleus and in a particular orbit, it has a particular magnetic moment, and this magnetic moment is due to the its rotation, and when electron moves, it's opposite to this electron motion, you get the current. This current is in opposite direction to the motion of the electron, and when electron moves, it produces the current. This current is responsible for the production of the electric. This current is responsible for the production of the magnetic moment, and this magnetic moment is called as the orbital magnetic moment. Therefore, when this electron is here, this is the orbital magnetic moment. This is a particular direction of the magnetic moment, and along the direction of the internal magnetic moment, that is atomic magnetic moment, the direction of the magnetic field aligns in a particular direction. Okay, this is the field on an orbit moment. This is due to the electric field, sorry, the magnetic field generated by the electrons in an atom. This is also called as the atomic magnetic moment. Now, here this is considered as this is the direction of the magnetic field, and here this is the radius of the orbit, and here we will consider theta. Now, let us consider an unit volume of material containing n atoms, each having magnetic moment mu. Let us assume that in a particular atom there exist n numbers of atoms, and due to that n numbers of atoms, you get a magnetic moment mu. Therefore, the direction of the magnetic moment represented by the magnetic vector. This is a magnetic vector mu, and this vector is drawn through the center of the sphere of the radius. As you know that electrons are not moving in a particular circular direction, but it takes the sphere and it is moved along the spherical direction, or it may take the path along the sphere. Therefore, here we will consider the spherical radius of the sphere. And now here we wish to find the moment, numbers of real moment which include at an angle theta and theta plus d theta at the field H. In the absence of the magnetic field mu, the vector passing through unit area of sphere surface is the same at any point on the surface sphere. Here we will apply an external magnetic field also. Therefore, here the dn is proportional simply to the area dA, which is given by this is the area 2 pi sin theta into d theta for a sphere of unit value radius. You know that the magnetic moment mu is the product of current into area. Therefore, here we need this area, this 2 pi sin theta into d theta. This is the area given to the area of the sphere of a unit radius. But when the field is applied, the vector mu shift over the direction of the field. Here field means here we will apply an external magnetic field. As the internal magnetic field present in the material, therefore this internal magnetic field gets shifted to the direction of the external magnetic field. Therefore, each atomic moment then has a certain potential energy EP in the field is given by EP equals to minus mu h cos theta. This is a minus mu h cos theta. Therefore, this is the potential energy generated due to the external magnetic field. That is, this means inside the atom there exists a magnetic field, and this magnetic field either opposes the external magnetic field. Therefore, there the difference between this internal magnetic field and the applied magnetic field, there is the potential. They have created the potential energy. This potential energy is given by EP equals to mu h cos theta. Therefore, in the statement of thermal equilibrium, in the state of thermal equilibrium at temperature T, the probability of the atom having an energy EP is proportional to the Boltzmann factor. That is E equals to minus EP into K, EP upon KT, where K is the Boltzmann constant, and the numbers of moments between theta and theta plus d theta will now proportional to the area dA multiplied by the Boltzmann factor. Therefore, this is the numbers of atoms and this is a particular area. This means that much numbers of atoms present in that area. This is a proportionality constant and this is a Boltzmann factor. Therefore, these are the numbers of atoms which align in particular to this moment of potential, this EP. This means the this is the probability of an atom having an energy EP is proportional to the Boltzmann factor. Okay, therefore the numbers of atoms which having the this moment this potential energy EP is given by dN equals to K dA into EP by KT. This is equals to twice pi. This is nothing but the area. Twice pi sin theta d theta is the area. This equation here. This twice pi sin theta d theta is the area, and this area is written here, and K into this one will be the equation. Now K is the proportionality constant. Now we will solve this equation by determining integral from 0 to n. Here we have the zero numbers of atom, or means if we integrate this dn within the limit 0 to dn, we get a total number of atoms which having this potential energy. Now here we put a equals to mu h upon kt. Here this is the mu h upon kt. We will put a here for the solving purpose. Therefore, by solving here we will take this 2 pi k outside the integration and we will solve this derivation. We will not, this is here, this is a constant, and here again the magnetization m is given by the multiplying the numbers of atom by the contribution mu cos theta of each atom and integrating with the total number. Therefore, this m, this is the magnetization given by mu cos theta into d. This is a magnetization. Here, this is a magnetization. Now, this after solving, we will put this two equation, about two equation in the about derivation this in this equation. Therefore, the magnetization m is given by here. This is a mu, value of mu. We will put the value of mu here. Therefore, 2 pi k mu equals 0 to pi e cos theta sin theta d theta. Here we will solve this equation. By solving this equation, we will put here x equals to cos theta and dx equals to minus sin theta d theta. And by solving this, we will put here this we get a this m magnetization equals to n mu cos A into 1 by A. Here this m upon m0, this is written as m0 here, and cot HA minus 1 by A. The expression on the right is called as the Langevin function. This is a this expression on this right side is called as the Langevin function. Usually this is denoted as LA, and this value of the Langevin function is given by A by 3 minus A cube by 45 plus twice A to the power 5 upon and 45. This is the value of the Langevin function. Here this total function is the Langevin function, and here when we put this A here, then here, if A is taken as a very small quantity, this all term may be neglected for the therefore, which is for a value of A is less than 1. LA is a function, A is plotted as this, this is a plot of LA upon this Langevin function. This is a Langevin function, and A here, this m upon m0, this is a LA. LA. Therefore, which is equals to here, if we neglect this will not we if A is very less than A minus 1, A is very less than 1, this means we will neglect this value A by 3. The only remaining would be the LA equals to A by 3. A by 3. Here, therefore, Langevin theory leads to the two conclusions. The situation will occur only if A equals to mu h upon kt, which is large enough, which make good physical sense. Because h large h or low t both necessary if the alignment tendency of the field is going to overcome the distorting effect of the thermal agitation. And for a small a, the magnetization M varies linearly with h. As we shall see, the presenting a is the small number, a is considered as small. A normal condition, the linear M and H curve are observed like that of the figure in above this figure. So this is a linear curve and this is a non-linear curve. Here LA considered as a by 3. This is a non-linear curve. Therefore, the Langevin theory also leads to the Curie law. This is the Langevin theory. Even in previous lecture, we have studied the Langevin theory of the diamagnetic materials, which leads to the Curie's law for small a, La equals to a by 3, and equation is given by m equals to n mu a by 3. This again, if we put the value of here, this is again m equals to n mu square h by 3 ka. If you put the value of a here, and you get this value m equals to n mu square h into 3 kt, which leads to the Curie law. This is the Curie law. Again, here psi proportional to the inversely proportional to the t, which is again c proportional to the c by t. Here rho is the density, but n and numbers of atom per unit volume equals to Na by A, where A is the atom's mole, and rho is the density, and A is the atomic weight. Therefore, psi v equals to n mu square 3a kt. So this is the again Curie law, c by t. The SI unit of Curie law nothing but the this is dimensionless. This again dimensionless. This is susceptibility dimension. Dimension of susceptibility is again a dimensionless. But here again psi m equals to c upon rho t. This is the psi upon rho t, where the rho is the density, and again here the susceptibility is m cube upon kilogram. This is again a SI. This is a Curie law. This is a Curie law with the Curie constant given by c equals to n mu square 3a. The net magnetic moment mu per atom may be calculated from the experiment by the means of the equation. This by using this equation we can calculate the susceptibility of the material. Here, therefore, this is the susceptibility equation, and in CGS the SI unit of the susceptibility equals to EMU upon G forested, and SI is the meter cube upon kilogram. This is the derivation. This is the theoretical calculation. Again, the Langevin theory of paramagnetism, which leads to the Curie law, is based on the assumption that the individual carriers of the magnetic moments, atoms or molecules, do not interact with each other. This is the important statement that when the assumption that the individual carriers of magnetic moment, atoms, do not interact with each other, but are acted upon only by the applied field and thermal agitation. Many parameters which do not obey this law. This law instead of more general Curie-Weiss law. This is a psi c upon t minus 0. This is a Curie-Weiss law. This is an important statement of the Curie-Weiss law. This means here some materials completely not depends on the temperature, but certain different factors also is considered. This is the Curie statement. Curie and Curie-Weiss law, when both are combined in this study and derived this relation, I am equals to c upon t minus theta.